Yeah, Pragati, your screen was shared with us to carry on with your presentation. Uh, just unmute. Still, you are in a mute. We are not hear what you are saying right now. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. So, good afternoon, everyone. I am Pragati, postgraduate student of Christ University. My paper title is Indian Television Media Credibility. Talking about the purpose of this TV influence public perspective, understanding the nature, role, and biases involved in it. And in this research, I'm analyzing two popular channels, India TV and Azhtak, according to the BARC report. They are the two most popular channels. Talking about my research objectives and research questions, my first research objective is to analyze and understand whether Indian television media is spreading hate. Along with that, my research question is what are the subjects issue where Indian media content spread hate. For this, my theoretical framework is media richness theory, and I choose systematic research review as a data collection tool. My second research objective is to understand the Indian media standpoint on the important issue over TRP. For this, my research question is what are the similarities and differences between the news presentation of these two channels. And for this, my theoretical framework is structuration theory, and for data collection, I took interviews led to a thematic research. Talking about methodology, uh, I took qualitative research approach, undergo with a thematic analysis, lead to inductive thinking. The two specific channels I chose as per WARC report of week 28 data result of most watched channels. I choose specific week 28 because it was that week where our current president Draupadi Murmu was appointed. Talking about my primary data, I took interviews of those persons who are currently in media industry. I did purposive sampling for interview. My inclusion criteria are need to be a journalist, have experience to work in any one of these two channels, and I targeted four different age experience section for the interviews. My first one is fresher, second is having 2 years of experience, third is having 5 years of experience, and fourth is having 20 years of experience. I took a telephonic interview, which are semi-structured in nature with open-ended questions. Talking about my secondary data, I did comprehensive systematic research review, and for that my primary search identify from Google Scholars of those papers after 2020, sorry, 2014. The research papers are after 2014 because our current government was firstly came in power at that year. The keywords which I chose was TV, news media, hate speech, news presentation, politics, crime, religious boundaries. I did the search on 1st of November. I started with 82 papers. After my first search, I come up with 82 papers, and after seeing the removing the duplicate papers, I came down to 42, and after that I screened them on the basis of abstract, quantitative study and keywords, and then I came down to 15. And at last, I removed 6 papers on the basis of full screening of the articles, and the final it went down to 9 papers. Talking about the inclusion criteria, there is drilling media coverage of India, and addressing the way news is presented. Talking about the theoretical framework, I choose substitution theories for my primary data because it talks about the position and explain the action of the structure or agency, which is similar to my second research question about the similarity, talking about the similarities. And for my secondary data, I choose media richness theory because it talks about the ability to change of information in a fixed time interval to understand the change which is concerned to my first question. Moving forward to findings. Yeah, talking about findings, I find that Indian media has shifted its focus from traditional news reporting to sensationalized and often unethical content to boost rating. News media Outlets prioritize entertainment over delivering accurate and reliable information, leading to decrease in the quality and reliability of news. Then I get to know that the pursuit of the TRP has become the primary goal for news stations, with the little regards for the impact on society. Crime and crime and reality shows news stories are given more importance, while actual world accounts and real heroes are given lesser priority. Irresponsible reporting has resulted into public being sensitized to important events without understanding their ramification. There's two examples of it. First is Arushi Talwar murder case, and second is the latest Sushant Singh Rajput murder case, where we can see that media carelessness you where we can see the media carelessness and the trials which were happened, and the competition for rating has led to fierce rivalry with news being accommodated and casting doubts on its values, newsworthiness, and credibility as a medium. The public is impacted by the media substances and messages shaping public opinion without understanding the media hidden agenda.
Pragati?
Going further to limitations,
Yes,
I have two
last
more
4 minutes
slides.
you have upcoming.
Okay, so I skip the limitation parts. My limitation is only it's not for longer references, and because and also I add that we can add bulletins. Talking about conclusion, I believe that I not I believe I get that Indian TV news industry operates in highly competitive environment. Capturing viewers' attention is necessary to increase TRP and revenue to remain financially viable. However, fundamental principle of journalism should not be degraded. Falling advertising revenue and reliance on the government sponsorship make organizations susceptible to accumulate by the business entities with close ties to the government. That is all about my paper. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pragati, to run your presentation within a short of time. So, sir, is there any discussion about this paper?
Prakriti, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, sir.
A very good attempt to look on our Indian media, that is television from 1959 onwards. Still, it is one of the most credible medium to the audience. That too in India, media plays a vital role in every aspect. So you took an important topic to discuss and to study about that. I appreciate that. And the media richness, you took your sample as 2 years, 5 years, and 20 years of the participants.
Yeah, I took the interview of these like experienced people.
Okay. To increase the credibility of
Yeah,
your data.
yeah.
Okay.
To set my primary data basically.
Okay. Okay. So, Pragati,
Yes, sir.
Dr. Boobalakrishnan. As the chair said, this is the need of the hour because
Sorry,
since
sir, I am not able to hear you. Can you please repeat?
is it fine now?
Yeah, it's now fine. Sir, you are not audible. think I lost connection.
Sorry, Pragati, they are facing a little bit network issue. So please wait for 2 minutes. We will try right the connector right there.
Okay.
Is my voice audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, since as our chair mentioned, since the advent of television, television is the only credible media to the mass public. But in recent times, it has increased, it's a boom like anything. So the question comes, which is credible? Which medium is credible? Earlier, we have choices in fingers, but now we have n number of channels, n number of news channels. Okay, fine. So what I can take it from your presentation is instead of sensitizing, they are sensationalizing. So their duty is to sensitize the public, but they are sensationalizing the public. And my question is just only one question is, what could be your policy recommendation to make this media as a credible one? Just your views and based on your analysis or based on your experience with the media. What could be your policy
Uh,
recommendation? Sure. Yes, please.
So talking about policy recommendation, I think I can suggest some ideas, but I don't know it turn out in a policy or not. Like involving businessmen in new sector is something which is not required. Apart like it came down on the like what message a media house can be like want to show. Turn out that they have to limit themselves. Apart from that, the advertisements which government provide to these media houses, they can not like differentiate in any biases. It could be little helpful for them for generate the money. Apart from that, I think the telecom sector sorry, apart from that, I think the media journalists need to be little more careful about their words, like whatever they are saying, because some of the news anchors are seen that they came and they rant the person whom they are interviewing, or they like kind of turn into a fight, which is not a good, which is not like ethics of journalism, which is not good for the ethics as the ethics of journalism. So I think these are some points where they can work on.
Okay, good, good. As you said, the first point is well taken. If it has become a business, then how can you expect an ethics? If
Yes.
it has become, as you mentioned in your presentation, in a competitive media environment, they have to compete at TRP and all. So if it is a business, then ethics and regulation has to be formed. It's a good topic, and you move forward in this aspect, how this can be regulated. In that aspect, you can move forward. That's my suggestion. And good work. I appreciate your work. Good, all the best.
Thank you.
Now over to Pooverson.
Okay. Thank you, Prakati, for your great presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, we will next move on to paper number 40. Jonathan, Michael, and Medha Karta, postgraduate students from Christ University, doing their paper under the supervision of Dr. Suparna Naresh on the topic of riding the wave of global popularity, media technology aiding Hallyu and cool Japan. Can you people make the presentation
Yes, sir.
and complete it within 5 minutes as soon as
Yes, sir. Yes, I'll be presenting and Medha will be introducing the topic.
okay.
Cheers. Is it visible?
Yeah, now it's visible. Make it as a full screen, okay.
Right. So this is our title, Riding the Wave of Global Popularity, Media Technologies, the Role of Media in Hallyu and Cool Japan. The main reason we wanted to do a joint paper on this topic is
Jonathan, you
because
can unmute. Then we might reduce.
yes, so the main reason we chose this topic is because I am very interested in Hallyu and Korean culture, whereas my co-author Jonathan is very interested in cool Japan and Japanese culture. So we decided to combine both and see what we can find through this. So yes, next slide, please. Right. So we are skipping this. We'll just go straight to methodology. What we did is we decided to go with a narrative analysis. Can you please go to the previous slide? Right. We decided to go with a narrative analysis because we wanted to analyze what other people have said about individuals, collective groups, and organizations from in both Hallyu and Cool Japan. So what we did is we studied media narratives and built a perception through, and we furthered our knowledge based on all the myriad of elements that we found around us. And in this case, we studied the media narratives around South Korea and Japan media material and built perceptions through the process of narrative analysis and try to understand how Korea and Japanese media spread its content globally. We decided to go with the following theories and look through each cultural export through these theories: cultivation theory, uses and gratification, imagined communities, media convergence, and Habermas public sphere. Yes, next slide. So I'll start by explaining the cultural exports of Hallyu that I have analyzed. The first thing that I went through was K-pop, because today, in today's world, if you think about South Korea, you think about K-pop. And the first band that comes to your mind from the K-pop industry is BTS. BTS has made a really big name for itself and recently even represented South Korea at UNICEF for their Love Myself campaign and promoted self-love and other meaningful messages throughout the world. And also recently in the World Cup, one of the members of BTS called Jungkook opened the World Cup with his song Dreamers, prompting people who did not know anything about BTS also to go and look up who is BTS. So you can see that through media they were able to get even more followers for themselves because they have created a following not just in South Korea but all around the world, and they have become popular even with the Western demographic and very popular in India as well. The next thing I would like to talk about, the next cultural export, is Netflix and their inclusion of K-dramas and Korean movies. So by including Korean dramas on their platform, they have opened up Korean entertainment content to a global audience, and they have allowed the further spread of Hallyu through this. And I would also like to point out that through their Oscar-winning Parasite movie, the Korean film industry has also gotten global recognition and has touched upon topics like class struggle and real issues, unlike perfection portrayed in mainstream serials and other K-dramas. The next cultural export that I have covered is skincare and cosmetic surgery. Now, if you have been following the skincare industry, you would have noticed that India also has come up with so many new skincare brands, especially after the pandemic. And most of these skincare brands follow the same theme of what Korea puts out. So if you see a serum that says this serum is for glass skin, you will notice that there are several Indian skincare products following the same themes. So you can see how the influence is going about. If you notice brands like Plum and Mama Earth, you will see that these Indian skincare brands do have products that take themes from Korean culture, like rice water for glass skin, etc. The same goes for cosmetic surgery. The Korean beauty standards are so high that people from other countries are also getting influenced. One such example is Ollie London, who decided to get plastic surgery in order to look like one of the BTS members. And he said that he would like to identify as Korean. So you can see how strong the media influence is and how strong Hallyu is in influencing individuals from other countries outside Korea. And also there have been many cases where Chinese people have gone to Korea in order to get plastic surgery, and then it becomes difficult for them to re-enter because of how good, like how different they look compared to their passport photos. And the last cultural export which I would like to talk about is majorly on YouTube. It is a major, the most of the content for this comes on YouTube, which is mukbangs. So mukbangs is a kind of a program where the host sits down and eats
food in front of the camera, and it has also promoted people to cook Korean food and go and try Korean food. Yeah, next.
So you have a last 1 minute. Make it quick.
Yes, sir. So am I audible?
Yeah, man, you can.
Yes, sir. So the cultural exports from Japan, which I have decided to select, is largely the overarching narrative of anime and how anime has influenced different aspects of soft power in Japanese exports. So we start off with anime in general, and we know that in the recent decades, anime has become very mainstream, with the likes of Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer surpassing even The Walking Dead and The Batman in blockbuster ratings. Attack on Titan is the third largest viewed TV show across the world and is one of the most popular shows. So speaking of anime, we must talk about Studio Ghibli and the brainchild behind Studio Ghibli, who is Hayao Miyazaki, who creates thought-provoking animations on the themes of love, nature, war, and uses fantastical elements, yet portrays a very real depiction of human emotions. So the picture on the bottom left is of My Neighbor Totoro, and it is an Academy Award winner and has won several international awards, thus putting Japan on a global scale. The next thing I would like to talk about is tourism and how anime plays a role in it. So anime heavily portrays Japan in a very ideal and a fantastic manner, where people get influenced to go to Japan and see those iconic locations. Anime tourism is something which the Japanese government themselves promote, and a lot of private and government organizations use themes from anime in their tourism portrayals, like iconic locations which have been shown in anime. One such example is an animated movie called Kimi no Nawa, which has this staircase scene at the end of the movie, which is visible in the second picture, where the two protagonists meet and the movie ends. So that is a very famous tourist spot in Japan after the movie was released. And there are various other examples which can be discussed further on. The third example of cultural export I would like to talk about is how Olympics played a huge part in portrayal of Japanese soft power. So Olympics 2020 was a brilliant showcase of how Japan constantly pushes its cultural products on a global scale to sustain soft power. So the opening of the Olympics was followed by an orchestra cover of an opening of a very well-known anime called Demon Slayer. So showcasing elements of anime and manga at a global event like the Olympics brings more attention towards these elements. Not only does it appeal to existing consumers of these cultures, but it also introduces them to new potential customers, thus increasing their global reach. So the last cultural export I would like to talk about is cosplay. So cosplay arises as a byproduct of what is known as otaku culture. So otaku in Japan is a term used for social delinquents or antisocial people who are described as people typically addicted to video games and anime and who do not leave the house or who do not do any work. But on a global scale, after anime became mainstream, otaku culture is seen in a very positive connotation, and anybody who is an enthusiast of Japanese culture considers themselves an otaku in a large scale. So cosplay is a byproduct of that. Cosplay is when people dress up as their favorite anime and gaming
Jonathan,
characters and attend events. So
Jonathan,
this
time's
is
up. Can you really wind up the thing and
Yes. I am winding up quickly. So as we know, Japan, through its cultural exports, has also had a large global impact. So now, comparison, I will wrap up quickly. So Hallyu and Cool Japan are significant discussion points in today's soft power discourse. Both of them are gradually making a mark in the world stage and are pushing back against the one-way flow of information which was previously pushed out by the West. I'm so sorry. So
Yes.
Yeah. So Western hegemony, as we know, was the state of global media, but now South Asian countries like Japan and Korea are pushing against it. And Hallyu and Japan can be very powerful soft power tools. So now moving on to the key takeaways.
Right. So what we have found is in both of these cultures, the main point that we would like to show is that these cultural exports are both very strong soft power tools. So in as you can see in Hallyu, most of the soft power tools are visible, like K-pop or K-drama. These are all visible tools. Whereas in Japanese culture, if you see, it promotes anime, manga, video games, and fashion. So video games and all are also visible tools, but at the same time, they have been in the media for a very long time. But whereas in Hallyu, the current wave that is going on is Hallyu 3.0, where it is all related to social media. Most of the content is coming out through social media. So for scope for further research, what we have found is in Hallyu, we will be able to, one thing we would like to see more of is fan cams, the concept of fan cam and how they use that to promote Hallyu. Fan cam is when an audience member in a concert at a K-pop concert takes a video and then it goes viral and it promotes the band even more. And the second thing, for Cool Japan, what we would like to further research is about things like more of their fashion industry and their gaming industry. And since gaming is one of the biggest industries in the world and Japan is the birthplace of commercial video games, we would like to go further and see how they have garnered their communities and the implication of such exports and the soft power implications, and also how Hallyu and Cool Japan both impact the political situation and the internal situation of Korea and Japan. So these are the scope for further research. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Because we are running out of the time, that's why we are hurry-upping your presentation. Sir, chairpersons, can you give your thoughts to the presentation?
Very good, Jonathan and Mehta. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can
Yes,
hear you.
sir.
Because India is presiding the G20 presidency this year. How important is the soft power to place our image? I am telling about our country in the world, geopolitical. The same thing like Japan. Soft power cultural thing is very important to project themselves globally. World is a global village. It was very old term, but it is a new term. It is contemporary term also. The
May I
world
take-
has
yeah.
become, can you hear me? The world has
Yes, sir. Yes,
become
sir.
a global village. More localization as making the world more globalization. Localization content makes it global.
Hello.
So in this way, this Hallyu and Cool Japan, because I can see my daughters can watch YouTube videos hours and hours. They are not our Indian contents most of the time. So I can imagine the contemporary thing in this subject. So I appreciate this study and all the best. I hand over this to my co-chair, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Yeah, this is Boobalakrishnan. Yeah, first of all, it is an interesting topic because, as our chair mentioned, he is experiencing this in his home. So not only him, even myself is also experiencing the same. Even I have two kids. My daughters used to watch YouTube videos. If you take their media content, no, I can say more than 90% of the video content are taken from the other countries, Western countries and Western culture, to say. And they didn't find anything new or shock when it comes to India, because whatever things that they are watching on the video, they are making it happen here in our country also. So I am from basically my residence is from a remote village. Since I am in a village locality, I can get whatever the kids that they are seeing in their videos. In that sense, I find it's a need of the hour topic. Earlier, it was focusing to adults, and now it's children's, and it irrespective of the age, it has been done. So I just my observation, two observations. One is regarding the hegemonic thing. It is not the new hegemonic practice. It was earlier we were hegemonized by the Western thing, Western cosmetics, like how there is a conspiracy how India got Miss Universe or Miss World. Still, it's a conspiracy thing to discuss and debate. Now it has been transformed. That's it. Western to South Asia. Yeah, you mentioned it. And my only question is, in your theoretical framework part, you have listed out some 5 theories. Is it possible to address this issue in all the 5 aspects, and the two in this level? It will become an extensive work. That's my apprehension also, how you're going to do this. Just justify yourself.
So can I answer this? So
Yeah, sure,
So
sure.
basically, yes. So Meda has focused on the Korean part and I have focused on the Japanese part because we are both enthusiasts of each respectively, right? So for each aspect, we have chosen how these aspects have spread to different countries through different lenses. So for anime, I have chosen cultivation theory because in India, the perception of anime has also changed gradually. So before, let's say 10 years back, anime had a very niche audience. So even in the early 90s and 2000s, anime was present in India, like Dragon Ball, Naruto, Shinchan, Doraemon, whatever. They were present in regional languages so that people get assimilated quickly and gradually into these anime, right? But now, if you go to see any anime watcher, and anime itself has become very mainstream, people prefer to watch it in the Japanese audio with the not dub, English subtitles on because it sounds more authentic. Plus, anime is now more positively received compared to what it was, say, 10-15 years back in the late 90s or early 2000s. So that is why I chose cultivation theory. Imagine communities I chose in terms of how anime has created communities like cosplay culture. So cosplay culture is a very niche thing and it has its own tight-knit community. It is a very well-defined community and it does not take into consideration other forms of pop culture. It is only anime or gaming, and that is how they express themselves through cosplay. So that is why we chose so many different theories to cater to different aspects of their cultural exports.
Yeah, may I cut in for one sec? Yeah.
Yes.
So to similarly, I would like to point out that we did not use all the theories for all the exports. Each export has been looked through one theoretical lens. For example, when I talked about skincare, I was looking at it through the lens of uses and gratification theory, because if you see skincare, most of the people nowadays are even the skincare packaging and the way skincare is being marketed has changed. People are focusing more on the ingredients of the skincare and what issue it targets rather than the pretty colors or how it looks. If you look at brands like The Ordinary and Minimalist, they source their ingredients from Korea and make it clear that their ingredients are Korean. And and when they market, it's only about the ingredients and what it does to help your skin. So it is more about the user buying these products to satisfy a need. So I looked at it through the lens of uses and gratification theory. Similarly, even for mukbang, people when they watch it, they feel a little gratified and they feel tempted to try that food, and they get satisfied by the need, and they try to go to different Korean restaurants or try to even cook the food at home. And yeah, so this is what we did. We took each cultural export and analyzed it through a lens of a theory, and we have mentioned all the theories on top under the theoretical framework, but we have not applied all theories to each export. So yeah.
Okay, that's fine and good. Then how can I take it is like just this is an orientation or an eye opening towards the cultural exports of ILO and cool Japan, how it can be seen. In that sense, it's fine. If you are taking this forward to the next level, then what is the research? Doing something in depth. Okay. So my suggestion is it would be fine if you go take one theory and doing an in-depth analysis. I'm not telling this is not right. What you are given is an orientation, maybe just an eye opening to the future researchers to take it forward. If you want to approach these products, this theory can be implied. If you want to approach this product like this theory can be implied. But in the future scope and future moving forward to this research, any one theory can be focused and in-depth study can be made. Anyhow, I can see the efforts that has been made. All the best. Good.
Thank you so much,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, Jonathan and Mehta. So next, paper code number 52, Arshmita Aditya. The paper title was Assessment of Breast Cancer Awareness in Bangalore under Preview of Health Communication, an Empirical Study. You can carry on, Arshmita.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. I shall share my screen. Yes, can you please confirm if you can see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Arshmita, and today the research paper that I'll be presenting is titled Assessment of Breast Cancer Awareness in Bangalore under the purview of Health Communication, and empirical study. So before I even jump to the results, major findings, methodology, or the ROL, I would like to answer the top 3 questions that will come to your mind when you hear about the topic. First, why breast cancer? Of all the topics that I could have possibly chosen in the realm of media, why did I end up choosing breast cancer? Because breast cancer is the most prevalent malignancy among female adolescents and young adults aged 15 to 39 years. And according to a data of 2020, the breast cancer accounts for 13.5% of all cancer cases. So as we all always appreciate, health is wealth. So let us understand the nuances in this particular illness. Second question that you might ask is why Bangalore? It is because Bangalore receives almost hundreds of thousands of immigrants every year from across the entire country who come here to either for employment opportunities or for educational opportunities. So I had a very, very wider base as my target audience and who I can survey and get to know about the attitudes and perceptions about this illness. Also because the city ranks third among 28 population-based cancer registries after Hyderabad and Chennai. And also breast cancer is the most common form of cancer in Bangalore. And the third question is, how can I possibly relate to, breast cancer and health communication? So during the initial phase of my research, when I was going through multiple papers, I got to know that there is a positive correlation between breast cancer awareness and screening practice, which means that the more you are aware about the signs and symptoms, about the risk factors, the more
Asmita,
conscious. Yes.
can you please move on to the objectives or our methodology, because we are okay with these things actually.
Yeah.
So we
Okay.
need to wide up things quickly.
Right. Okay, yes. So the main challenges that I actually identified are lack of awareness, poor cancer literacy, and limited resources. And that is the exact research gap that I'll be attempting to bridge. So because I would want to formulate a multidisciplinary approach to develop effective awareness initiatives and better communication strategies. In some way or the other, that will help me to lower the cancer incidence and death when it is included in some form of public policy. So the 3 of my research objectives, as you can see, is to evaluate the knowledge of breast cancer risk factors, to understand the social barriers and relating it with how much information you are being exposed to, and also to identify the effective health communication sources. So I've used social cognitive theory by Albert Bandura as my theoretical framework, mainly because it helps us to understand and it is a guidal model for behavioral change implications. We will be able to understand that how do we change the risk factors, how do we change the behaviors that will be detrimental for our health. And when we come to it, we also include many other factors like personal factors, environment, and behavioral factors. Also because when I was reading the original excerpt of Bandura, he stated that how this theory is not to frighten people into health, but reward them into health. You equip them to control their own behavior, to modify their own behavior, and to support any kind of required habit change. So for this study design, my sample size was 220 samples with 95% confidence interval and 5% margin of error rate. And when I did Cochrane formula and then a survey response rate, and I finally came down to 206 respondents. It was a simple survey that had 6 dimensions. These are the following dimensions. And this is the main framework or how I presented the results in my research paper using the regression models and how I developed a significant relationship between the dependent and the independent variables. So this is my broad hypothesis or objectives, and all my hypotheses have been proven right. It says, and if you actually read through all the objectives, the conclusion is that how a lot of our behavior depends on the kind of information we are exposed to. So the more information we are exposed to, accurate information, the better we will get to know about it, and it will influence our behavior. And these are few of the general results of the survey, that how we are still not very comfortable talking about this particular illness, be it with our family or with our friends, and how over 68.9% still prefer visiting medical professionals of the same sex. And though all of us actually have an idea about what breast cancer is, how many of you all actually know that breast cancer can happen to males as well? How many of you all do you know that, I mean, breast cancer can be of many types? And if everyone knows how to perform a clinical assessment? And the other major findings when I come to barriers is, number one, lack of information, social stigmas, and number three is financial constraint. So the more information we are consuming, we need to be very aware about, is it accurate? Is it correct? Does it, if it has any kind of misinformation, any false news, any taboos, myths, or social stigma, and how do we actually break through these barriers? When it comes to financial constraint, we might have access to, be it a gynecologist or oncologist, but is it affordable in every part of the country? Can people really access them at any point of time? The answer is no. So whenever the government is coming up with any such public policy, they need to make sure that the services needs to be accessible, affordable, as well as there should be a reduction in non-medical cost expenditure like food, transportation, and shelter. Moving on to the most common sources from where you get to know about breast cancer, number one, social media. Right from the entire Gen Z generation, we have been extensively consuming content in social media. So if we can use this as a crucial tool for disseminating more and more information about this particular illness, making people aware about it, telling them what are the preventive measures, how you can check yourself, and if you're not comfortable, then how to open up yourself, conversing about all these sensitive issues. And furthermore, this can be taken up by hospitals or any independent and voluntary organizations who can either put up any information or awareness campaigns. And while I included the discussion part in my research paper, there's a term called self-efficacy, specially devised by Albert Bandura, again in social cognitive theory, where he says that behavioral change can be influenced by a lot of factors. So these are the four broad factors, he said: mastery experience, vicarious experience, social persuasion, and emotional and somatic states. So overall, if I have to explain in just 2 or 3 lines, it's more about when you see someone else going for a treatment, you get encouraged to go for that as well. When somebody is verbally encouraging you to do something, you get motivated to do that. So all these basic tenets need to be applied when we devise any kind of health communication strategies, any kind of campaigns, when we are part of any maybe PR agencies, or when we are doing it from behalf of any NGOs, or when we are even part of government regulatories. And this will help us to strengthen the self-efficacy in public health. So the conclusion is, this knowledge will help you to engage multiple stakeholders from different realms. Just because I am specializing in media today doesn't mean I shouldn't touch or even know what this is about, because it's a medical topic. But then knowing it will also help you to understand how to develop it further, how to make it more accessible, make it more easier for people to understand, so that people participate in the process, and we can strengthen the public health security of our country, and in large scale of the entire globe as well. So the research is subjected to few biases. I have listed down the biases, most of them because it's a survey, so you will have recall biases. It is a sensitive issues, so it can be subjected to social desirability bias. And because my main target audience were female literate belonging from Bangalore urban, so I actually collected data from only those who had access to internet. But what about those who do not have access to internet? They might give me completely different results. So these are few of the limitations, and yes, I'm done with my presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Asmita. The chairperson will give a comment about your topic.
Ashmita, I appreciate your study. This is a need of the hour study, as the government of India is working towards health for all, health sector, that is in all aspect, from child health, women health, elderly health. So this is an important issue. That too, you took your samples and respondents from Bangalore urban. You mentioned that too.
Yes.
During your limitations. Yes. I have one observation and I need a suggestion also from you. How can we extend this awareness, since you are telling that nearly 37.8% of the respondents are getting information about this thing through social media. Still, this is topping the table. So when we are trying to extend this thing towards our rural area, how can we strengthen this awareness? Or you have any suggestion to the government?
Yes.
Please.
Yeah. First of all, I will actually go through a traditional approach, because we all have been conditioned to study in a particular way throughout our entire school time. And unfortunately, we still have digital divide in our own country. So apart keeping the social media aside, I would say if information related to breast cancer is included in our daily school curriculum, it will be very, very good start for everyone. From anybody belonging to any gender spectrum, it will help everyone. So that can be the start. And slowly, when we look at media, be it social media or be it any other platform, in social media nowadays, we have a lot of other mediums, be it, for example, in the form of reels, in the form of video, in the forms of any like short clips. We can just, it's not enough when we say what is breast cancer. A lot of us already know what breast cancer is, but what are the essential facts and trivia that people don't really know about? And how can we ensure that there's no such late delayed diagnosis? And how do we even know that who do we approach first in case we find any changes? Who do we go approach first for any such clinical assessment? So maybe sharing contact or partnering with any other hospitals or clinics and telling them that how can we share it in your platform. So these are the few small steps we can take. And for example, in India, we celebrate October as the National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So in that month, the government can come up with their own creative communication strategies, be it through traditional medium, be it through digital platform, but create more awareness about it. Not just what is breast cancer, but what can breast cancer do to you, and what are the risk factors? What should you not do and what should you do? So yeah.
Okay, fine, good. I appreciate your study and all the best, Ashmita. I just handed this to my coach, sir. Sir,
No.
please.
Yeah,
Thank
Ashmita,
you
this
so
is
much.
Dr. Boobalakrishnan. I was also had the same question where you answered the same question asked by the chair. You said among the barriers, lack of information stands first, which is around 38% lack information related to breast cancer.
Right.
And he was asking about, okay, your suggestion is, yeah, you answered my question. Yeah, some sort of campaigns that can be made through the social media, because in your third aspect, social media stands first in the source.
Yes, it
So
does.
so it is there. So it was answered. Okay. Yeah, it's a crucial health communication in a country like India, in a diverse. We have extreme, as our chair mentioned. You're in an urban place. You're also having the rural localities, rural areas also. But this technology, there is no any divide. I think so. If I hope so, almost 80% of the rural area is covered. Network is covered with this social media, and this won't be any technological barrier for this social media reach. So it can be done. Okay, all the best. Good.
Thank you so much.
Mm.
Thank you, Ashmita, for the wonderful study. Next, we are going to for the paper code number 68, Kanishka. WhatsApp from communication agent to propaganda tool. This was the topic of Kanishka. Now you can present your topic. Kanishka, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. You can share your screen and start your presentation. So script the introduction and literature review parts and make sure you completing the presentation within 5 minutes.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
Don't take much time. Yeah, carry on.
Okay, so hello everyone. My topic is WhatsApp from communicating agent to propaganda tool. So I chose this topic because I need to know what's more in WhatsApp, as it's not just obviously a status sharing platform or how we message each other. It's definitely more, especially for the political parties. So I wanted to go deeper into that. And yeah, the objectives of the study is to know how there is an involvement of WhatsApp from a communication tool to a propaganda tool, and also explore the use of WhatsApp as a propaganda tool for politicians. And these are the research questions. So what was the initial type of communication and how it changed over time? And why specifically WhatsApp has been chosen as a tool? And how is privacy of WhatsApp related to its UI? Now, there are 3 stages of WhatsApp that while I was studying, I went through, and that is status sharing platform, communicating agent, and political tool. So it initially began as a platform for posting statuses, and later people started using it for interacting with their friends and family. However, the platform changed over time and evolved into a political tool for the widespread of propagation of propaganda. And that's exactly how this shift happened. This is very interesting. So it's a love and hate relationship between politicians and WhatsApp. So as much as politicians enjoy and they know the power of WhatsApp to propagate certain kind of agenda, they themselves become a victim of the same. So I want to give 2 examples here. First, how they become a victim, and second, how they use it. So Rahul Gandhi here, who is part of Congress party, was giving a speech in a cricket stadium in Dubai in 2019, where the actual statement that was made by him was that Mahatma Gandhi picked up the idea of non-violence from a great religions and from a great teachers as well. He took the idea from Christianity, from Islam, and from Buddhism, and many other religions. That's what his real statement was. Now, the claim that was made was that Rahul Gandhi said that Mahatma Gandhi picked up the idea of non-violence from Islam. So basically, the video was cut short and it was presented in this way to mislead people. And this video was forwarding so many times through WhatsApp and even many other social media platforms. But what WhatsApp had the ability to spark controversy in the most truthful way. Like, the people were actually believing that the video is actually true. And the other I want to mention is how political parties use it. So tech fog is a really a very hidden platform for these political parties to take over people's idle WhatsApp accounts and to message their connections. So what tech fog does is private individuals become a prospective targets. Now, people's private information can secretly upload to a cloud database, and that's how they get all the information of our WhatsApp to them. And we all know that WhatsApp messages don't exist in a vacuum. So we know how much messages go at a particular time. So that's one thing how they use it, and it has always been more than just a messaging service for most of our parties. It's been used widely. Now, the privacy concerns, I'm going to rush up to two, and I'm going to explain the one that I feel is something new. So massive user base, we know it's a big flat platform, not just urban areas, even rural people use it, and it's very easy to use. And the WhatsApp desktop programs is there. So you scan a code and then you use it on your WhatsApp desk platform. Now, hackers disseminate malicious software through your WhatsApp desk. So if you're unlucky to download it, it means that your certain data has already been there with the hackers and scammers. So that's there. And so the unencrypted backups is something very new to me. So usually when you message a new person, there's this text that appears that WhatsApp messages are encrypted from end to end, and not even WhatsApp can know what are you sending or what data are you exchanging, right? So now it claims apparently all of your messages are encrypted from beginning to end. Now this indicates that they can be decoded only by your device and the person you're sending it to. Once the communication is decoded on your device, this doesn't make them secure. How? Basically, along with the cloud-based backup, there is also local backup that is there. And this local backup has all your encrypted messages stored from there. And this is not, this has no privacy concern or something. Anyone can actually have an access to this local backup. So this makes easier for the hackers or any other third party to retrieve your data, to retrieve anything that you're sending very easily. So this is something that was very new to me that I got to know. And the misinformation versus disinformation, something that I included in my paper. I'm not going to explain it because of the time constraint. I'll move on to the approach of the study. So I took qualitative approach, which is, and in that I interviewed people from IPAC. This is an Indian Political Action Committee who knows how much data goes, how much propaganda messages goes every now and then. And I interviewed 8 people for sitting in different genres. So some may be responsible for certain pictures, some may be responsible for certain text messages, some may be responsible for some audio clips. So within every department, I took interview of each and every person. And these were the findings here. So all of us have been graduated from different universities, but one university that remains very constant throughout is WhatsApp University. Even though I'm pretty sure we've all been guilty in forwarding certain text to everyone without knowing the background of the detail or the background of the information. So all the parties, now the findings are, all the parties set a very strong base, and different social media teams were delegated for the dissemination of intended messages. And at every level, there was a usage of setting up of different narratives. This actually gave rise to misinformation. And people, they don't want hard news or non-sensationalized news on WhatsApp. They are more interested in information that spark some controversy in everyone's life. So that's how misinformation is something that spreads faster. And this is very interesting how Reliance is actually one of the major tools for WhatsApp to be in everyone's phone. WhatsApp was actually strongly backed by Reliance. Reliance came into the picture and started distributing phones worth rupees 1,500. Now, this was an advantage and an opportunity for parties and to make people use and consume the content from WhatsApp more and more. Now, Reliance made sure that WhatsApp reached in every corner of the society. Even in rural India, people from every age group used WhatsApp for their own conveniences. And this is how it became a major tool to access any and every information. Easy user interface. We know the simplicity of the WhatsApp is the major benefit of its tool, to use it as a propaganda tool. So no overstuffing of information with features and all. It's an easy maintained tool for a spick and span UI, and it's easy to use in chat also. So instead of attempting to create a new user interface, it actually resembles SMS texting service. So we know how simple it is. You just open WhatsApp, you put your number, all your contact details come, and you just start texting. So the user interface is pretty good for WhatsApp to come in handy for our phones. Now, conclusion. So WhatsApp and other social media platforms will continue to be used, especially more frequently in rural areas, as long as the cost of the mobile data remains low and smartphones become more affordable. The spread of fake news and propaganda through the application still remains a hot topic in the market. The ecosystem approach, or the fact that messages come from well-known contacts are taken seriously, is what gives WhatsApp its value. That's true. If suppose my father is forwarding something to me, for me, he's a father figure, and I might take it forward because I know he's senior to me, and if it's coming from him, it might be true. So that's something that's taken care of. Like, if it's coming from a known contact, you might not even think before forwarding it. So that's something interesting to note here. And then videos and messages that have an emotional effect can have a positive or a negative effect on people's voting behavior. And that's exactly what political parties have stored in for us. So that's how they mold our opinions and beliefs through a WhatsApp. That's it. That's my study.
Thank you, Kanishka. Okay, our chairperson will comment on your study. So you can give your valuable comments to Kanishka.
Yeah, sure.
Kanishka, all the best and very good initiative, very good move to the contemporary issue you took in your study. You spoke about the WhatsApp University, that's global leader in misinformation, disinformation, and one more thing, malinformation also. You can note it as well, and you can study about that malinformation about with these two. Do you have any idea about how can we stop spreading this misinformation and disinformation
Yes, sir. So
to regulate these things?
yes, sir. So as far as I know, WhatsApp did its part for privacy concerns, and it has been hit very hard. But on a personal level, I think whatever we are forwarding now, there are certain applications online where if you put that picture, it will tell you how if it's true or if it's not. So you can fact check before actually spreading it, and you can do a background study. So even if it's coming from a trusted source, it's very, as journalist, as coming from a journalism background, I think it's very important to fact check each and everything, even if it's coming from a trusted source. Even when you read the news, it's important to go online and check more about it, back to a background study. So I feel like studying even anything that is coming from anywhere, it's very important. So a background check is something that we all can do, even if it's a forwarded message from a trusted source.
Yeah, that is needed, but we can see many famous faces and well-known figures of a country are sharing the so-called misinformation, disinformation post in Twitter. We can see time to time it is happening. So fact check is also there. We can check it, image search, and many other tools are there with internet, Google, and all they are offering.
So what's your question?
No. I am just expressing my
Okay.
views. I'm not asking you any question.
Okay.
It is happening. Still,
Yeah.
we are lagging. It's like a magic bullet theory.
Yeah.
Instead of if on disinformation or misinformation is going like Duronto express train speed, the fact check information is traveling like an express train or passenger train speed. So already it has made the damage to the system like that. So we'll try to overcome these things. I'm handing over this to my co-chair, sir. Sir, please.
Yeah, Kanishka.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is also yet again an interesting study because even if anybody votes on WhatsApp, definitely whether they have their other apps or not, definitely this will be a minimal or essential application in a smartphone. That I agree, irrespective of their education level, irrespective of their literacy level, all started using this WhatsApp. What you said, this fact checking, all these things, no, that can be performed using any illiterate person. But what about your sayings to the people who are not literates and that much technical or that much techno savvies? I think you agree. Most illiterates are also using WhatsApp. So, in that case, what would be your suggestion to regulate or monitor to avoid these sort of fake information? Still, people believing. Yeah, I accept with this your title because it becomes a propaganda. These even most of the illiterates believes what the WhatsApp says. as like WhatsApp University. Okay. So during pandemic also, you can take an example of a pandemic. Whatever comes in WhatsApp, they are preparing and they are consuming it. Okay. In that case, what would be your strategy, or what we can do it for this illiterates in this sensitizing this misinformation or disinformation? Come on.
So I think, sir, as much as it coming from all of us, like it's among people, we are the people who are generating because we are forwarding it. So for the people who do not know how to fact check or something like that, I think broadcast media comes very handy. So even like as you mentioned in COVID times, they were trying their level best to fact check each and every. In fact, they had a program, one, I think 45 minutes, half an hour program was there only for to fact check certain claims that are being made through WhatsApp or any other platform. So I think for every, like I think TV or radio is something that is there in every one's house. So we can fact check something if they don't know how to do it. So even through broadcast media or any other traditional form of media we can tell them how it's done, or maybe include those things on their phones or something like that. So we can fact check in a way something media that is handy on the level, we can do that. So broadcast is something that used to do that. And then radio also, we can just try and eliminate all the fake news that is coming throughout, even in COVID times or maybe some elections, anything. So we can eliminate that kind of news.
You mean some sort of content monitoring? Some party should monitor the contents and classifying it as worthy or trustworthy, and then it can be passed to the masses in that sense. Good. Because you should not only consider the literates or the techno savvies, you have to include all who are all using this WhatsApp. Okay, good. All the best. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Kanishka, for your presentation. Next, we move on to code number 69, Sotunkal Kurin Ninan, on the topic of role and impact of AI in news media. Kurin, you can start your presentation and make it crisp and clear, and make it sure it was within a 5 minutes. Okay.
All right, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah. You can share your screen now.
Okay. So is my screen visible?
Visible, yeah, man. It's visible.
Okay.
Can you
so my
make it
topic,
a full screen actually? Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can carry on.
Good afternoon. My topic is artificial intelligence, its role and impact in news media. So artificial intelligence is an interesting concept that's been in my mind ever since I was introduced to it. So when I got a chance to research on any topic, I thought to do it on artificial intelligence because I wanted to know more about it myself. And I thought I'll relate it with media field since I'm a journalism student. So my research introduces artificial intelligence first. And as we know, it's a computer program that performs tasks according to human intelligence. And I've listed out certain functions. Apart from this, they are also used in more complex scenarios as well. And in my paper, I've also defined news media, which is a form of mass media that focuses on delivering news to the general public. I've listed out its functions as well. I've also defined various new medias and mass communications, which include the internet as well, which is the medium that uses AI more extensively. In my introduction as a theory, I've taken the theory of technological determinism introduced by Marshall McLuhan in 1960s. McLuhan predicted that visual individualistic print culture would soon come to an end to what he dubbed electronic interdependence, in which according to him, a significant change in social organization will result of a fundamental shift in technological communication. And since AI is a tool that is set to take over all creative industries, I believe this theory best suited for this topic. Then when it comes to ability of AI in news, they have it's used for fact checking, automation, keeping up to date, and it saves time and effort of a lot of people. This is also one of the findings and analysis I've done in my research paper. So I've just listed out some of the abilities. I've listed out certain reasons why I've chose this topic, and I wanted this paper to explore more and get answers to some of the unanswered questions that I've had. So coming to the methodology, the methodology I chose was qualitative. I took interviews of people working with AI and also people who have knowledge of AI in the news media. I've also analyzed and researched with various journals and research articles that have already been published. The interview method was open-ended, and I gave them a set of questions and they gave detailed answer to each of the questions. From the experts, I found that AI is widely used by industry experts to stay on top. As there's a lot of competition in the news industry, various top news agencies try to find ways to make sure they stay at the top, and the adoption of AI is one such phenomenon that helped them to do so. The expert also mentioned the functions of AI in eliminating fake news through fact checking and also its ability to detect plagiarism. They also mentioned how AI plays a role in recommendations and also filtering. When it comes to news websites, AI collects information based on the user's preference and suggests them news based on that. So two studies or papers that the experts quoted and which I focused my paper was a Reuters survey and the London School of Economics report on journalism AI. So as per the Reuters survey, uh, as shown on the screen, most of the participants feel that AI will be important in delivering better content. The survey also says that the AI will play a key part in finding or investigating stories using data. It will also help in commercial strategies like identifying and targeting prospective customers most likely to pay for subscription. So the scope of AI is not just restricted to content generation, but also to expand commercial strategies of the particular news organization. The report also says that AI has changed workflows in newsrooms in many ways as well. One example given was the Boston Globe won an investigative journalism Pulitzer Prize for Blind Spot, a story about preventable road accidents in the US using their AI technology. Coming to the LSE journalism report, the respondents use AI for news gathering, production, and for distribution. It is also said that AI made the content of the journalists more relevant to the users and improved the news agency's business efficiency. An important finding from the report was that there was a significant fear of newsrooms falling behind. Several small news agencies who couldn't afford the adoption of AI found it difficult to compete with large news agencies who capitalize on AI, raising the prospect of growing inequality between small and large organizations. The study also found that most newsroom employees need to be more trained in AI, and there was a lack of strategic planning when it came to AI in newsrooms. As mentioned in the Reuters report, the LSE report also mentions about the cost effectiveness of AI for news agencies, wherein they use AI to improve the company's economics. There are several examples given of AI being used by big organizations like Wall Street Journal's dynamic paywall, Washington Post heliograph, which was used in the Summer Olympics of 2016, and election day analysis, and Bloomberg Cyborg that uses AI to extract and identify key data points in earnings report for thousands of companies and publish headlines and articles in seconds. I mentioned various other examples also in my paper. To conclude, we have seen how AI has reshaped journalism and changed the way we get and give news. They are mainly used by news agencies for their working and monetary benefit. A point raised by the expert during the interview was the imbalance of power between small and big news agencies, as mentioned in the LSE report. It is also important for the employees to be more skilled and AI smart in their work. AI is very common right now, especially with ChatGPT, which is changing a lot of lives of students as well. So it becomes important for all of us to be familiar with the concept. In the end, I would like to quote one of the experts who, when asked whether AI will replace human labor, he said, AI will not replace people, but people who know how to use AI will replace people who don't know how to use them. Thank you.
Thank you, Kurin. The chairperson will comment about your study. Sir, you can give your comment.
All the best, Korean. This is also the contemporary issue on the research problem. You took very nice initiative.
Thank
Yes, everywhere it will be a influential. That media industry will also not be spared. I have some observation and I have some question to you. Because government, Indian government also planning to extend the AI training to make their officers, new recruits, to be tech savvy.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea or suggestion for this move from government side? You can suggest.
So my basic suggestion, which is actually already being implemented, is maybe start from education level itself. Maybe in pre-degree or like UG, they can have a specific course on, or not just course, just a subject on the basic trainings of AI, their applications, how it's used. So I would say the earlier the people start, it'll be beneficial for them if they go into a field where AI is also extensively used. For example, journalism, now that AI is being used, it's not just for technicians in the news industry, but it's also for all the employees who are working in the news industry. It's important for them to know how AI can be beneficial for them without replacing their human emotion or time and labor. So I would say it should come from the start of education itself.
Okay, Korean. Actually, we are all witnessing AI everywhere without knowing that this is AI interpretation. Whenever we are calling a customer care office, whether it is mobile or any other product and services, it is 99% these days are interpreted by AI only.
Yeah.
Okay, all the best, Korean.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Kurin, we will move on to next topic. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank
Next subject code was 74. Noel John, the postgraduate student from Christ University. The topic of Noel John was the impact of sponsored and the influencer Instagram ads on the young adult audience in Bangalore. Noel John, you can carry on your presentation. Now you can share your screen.
Thank you so much for the introduction, sir. I'll share my screen.
So make it the presentation within 5 minutes. Don't exceed the
Yes,
time. Do it because we already run out of time. Okay.
Okay.
Do crisp.
So you can see the screen, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I can see it now. So just to move on to the objective or the methodology part. Straight onwards.
Okay. So let me give some basic information first. So my topic title is Impact of Sponsored and Influencer Instagram Ads on the Young Adult Audience in Bangalore. So the reason I chose this is because prior to joining the course, I used to work as a content strategist. And when I work with these companies, these are small startup companies, and they don't have any big budget for advertising. So they can only go for either sponsored ads or influencer ads. And social media ads are usually of two types, either sponsored or influencer ads. So, but these small companies don't have budget to go for
Sorry to interrupt.
both of them.
Hello.
So they either go. What, sir? Can you hear me?
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah. Just move on to the objective portion actually.
Cool. I'm getting there.
Start from the objective portion. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you look at the influencer market size, you can see that the influencer marketing grew from 1.7 billion to 9.7 billion in 2020. That too because of COVID. And marketing related companies grew by 26% in 2021. If you look at the impact in India, we can see that in 2021 alone, we made 246 billion rupees in digital advertising in India. And one of the reasons is because of the penetration of affordable and speedy internet in India, and along with increase in content consumption. So just in the month of January 2020 alone, Facebook advertising reached about 260 million. If you look at why Instagram, with over 1 billion active users each month, Instagram is the ideal platform for reaching large audience. So basically, Instagram is very powerful to reach the target audience for these new businesses. And if you look at the age group also, my target population was young adult audience in Bangalore. The reason is because those who use Instagram is between 18 to 34. So according to stats from Statista, more than half of the global Instagram population is 34 years or younger. And India having the largest youth population in the world, around 66% of our Indian population is below the age of 35. So India is an amazing market for Instagram. So that's why I chose my age group from 18 to 34. So going to the methodology, I did a quantitative data survey, online survey collection, and I taken 100 responses out of that, which is 40 males, 57 females, and 3 non-binary. So why chose Bangalore? First of all, I am from Bangalore, so that is why I chose Bangalore. And second, Bangalore is one of the cities with the largest youngest population and it's culturally diverse. The crowd in Bangalore is from almost all around India. So our sample will be very good. And so we asked 18 questions in 9 sets. We asked questions related to exposure to ad, benefit of the ad, rate of lead, purchasing decision, brand testing, and creativity. So out of the 18 questions, 16 of them had the majority on sponsored ads. We asked them about exposure to ads, like how often do you come across sponsored ad or an influencer ad? People go with sponsored. How often do you find these ad beneficial? People opt sponsored. Rate of lead, sponsored. Purchasing decision, sponsored. Only brand trusting and creative was taken by influencer ads. So mostly sponsored ads lead in our survey. That's why after analyzing the data using distribution analysis, it is confirmed that sponsored ad is much more effective than influencer ads in order to reach the target audience on Instagram. So our result for our study is which mode of advertising has more impact on the younger users in Bangalore, either influencer ads or sponsored ads. According to the data, is sponsored ads. So that's my presentation, and I'm open for discussion. Thank you.
Noel?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you completed your presentation.
Yes, sir, I did.
You completed, okay. So sorry, it was a proper time-based presentation. So the chairperson will give the observation about the presentation. So
Okay, sir.
I carry on, sir.
Noel?
Hi, sir. Good evening.
Hello?
Am I audible, sir? Hello?
Hi, Noel.
Yeah, yes, sir. Hi.
Yes, you are audible. I'm audible. I think I'm audible too.
Yes, sir. You are.
This is also the contemporary research area.
It is.
In influence of sponsored and influencer ads. Before that, in Instagram itself influencing most of us. I'm telling
Yes,
most of us.
it is. Yeah.
Yes. So it has become like an advertisement platform these days.
Yes.
Most of the small or individuals, entrepreneurs, they started advertising their products in Instagram and they are succeeding in it also.
Yes, because if you look at in India's case, in India, startups are increasing significantly with like 10% being added each year. And there's also data from Press Trust of India that over 14,000 startups emerged in 2021 and 22 alone. That is from 733 in the year 2016 and 17. So a lot of startups are coming up in India, and the only best way to reach the target audience is through digital advertising, especially Instagram, to reach the younger audience. So yeah.
Okay. For the entrepreneurs, do you have any suggestion in future to extend this study? How it will help them?
In the study, as I said, sponsored ads have more impact than influencer ads. So if an entrepreneur, their primary aim is just to reach the audience, they should go with sponsored ads. But if it's just to get an influencer or make a brand out of it, then they should approach influencers. So that's how it works. It depends on what they want.
Okay, fine. All the best, Noel.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Noya, for your crispy presentation. Next, we move on to the paper code 87, Elizabeth Matthews. Her topic was media multitasking among youngsters and its effects on the advertising field. Elizabeth, you can carry on your. You can share your screen and do it within a 5 minutes and start with the presentation from objective.
Am I audible and visible?
Yeah, you are audible. You can share your screen.
Yeah, I hope my screen can be
Yeah,
seen.
yeah,
Okay.
it's working. Make it as a
Alright.
full screen and start your presentation from the observe.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Elizabeth Matthews, and in the next 5 minutes, I will be talking about my topic. Just to give a brief introduction, I'll make this very brief. What is media multitasking? This is something which we do on a daily basis or even on an hourly basis. Media multitasking is nothing but simultaneously consuming media of different forms or using a form of media while engaging in non-media activities such as checking social media while doing our work. Engagement in media multitasking is no longer a conscious decision on the part of the user. It has unfortunately become a habit for us. Social media, with its vast information and endless scrolling, has made media multitasking much easier for all of us, since there is never any lack of content on any social media platform, be it Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Talking about the literature review, while looking
You can skip this thing actually. Yes,
Oh. I will just briefly talk about my theoretical framework. I used two theories, which is uses and gratification theory and the belongingness hypothesis. The first theory explains the user's motive for media use, factors that influence these motives, and the outcomes of media usage. And the second one, belongingness hypothesis, has been used to explain social media use and the concept of fear of missing out, which is a major reason why people multitask. There were two major sections that were concentrated on, which is advertising and the impact on students. We'll be looking at both of these, and I will keep it brief. Talking about multitasking and the impact it has on students. In a classroom setting, it is very easy to get distracted, especially today with the access to media and technology. This has made media multitasking very easy for students, and it has become a part of their everyday classroom routine. Students seek various kinds of emotional satisfaction through media when they share pictures with their friends or family or post a tweet about their current situation. It was seen that while researching, it was seen that higher media multitasking rates have been associated with issues such as anxiety, depression, stress, different types of behaviors in students. But in order, media multitasking is also used to escape from trauma situations, and teens are most likely to use it as an escape mechanism rather than because they don't want to deal with the reality. To put it in perspective, teens use media as an outlet for their emotions, enabling them to overcome certain situations. By engaging in the act of media multitasking, teens or students in particular step into a world of fantasy for the time being, therefore ignoring all their negative emotions and issues which need to be addressed. These digital distractions can come in different forms and may not only be in the form of social media posts, online video games, hyperlinks, hypertext, and even taking down notes digitally are forms of digital distractions, which are major causes for media multitasking. Coming to the advertising field, as the media landscape continues to evolve quickly and rapidly, advertising firms are introducing new interactive means into their campaigns. By adding new and innovative methods to their marketing mix, advertising agencies have a wide range of media that they can focus on to advertise their products and services. The traditional 30-second television commercial, unfortunately, is no longer an apt way to capture the attention of the viewer, especially that of the younger generation. The end goal for all advertisers is optimum cognitive effort from consumers in order to convey their message. But media multitasking deprives them of this opportunity because the viewer does not pay complete attention to the advertisements. Keeping this in mind, advertisers have now also started using influencers in order to catch the attention of the viewer. While multitasking with another media or another activity, viewers may tend to give a second glance when they see a famous personality or an influencer they like or follow. And advertisers have used this to their advantage. And today, influencer marketing has emerged as an effective way to counter media multitasking viewers. Product placements and banner advertisements are also used by advertisers to ensure brand recall, as the viewers may remember the brand or make some association with the brand in spite of giving half their attention to another medium. Coming to the end of my presentation, from the conducted research, it can be concluded that there is definitely a change in the way advertisers use media in order to convey their message. This has become a necessity right now in order to capture the attention of the multitasking viewers. When it comes to students and their academic performance, media multitasking poses as a major distraction, and it has been affecting their academic performance as well. But there are small steps being taken by educational institutions in order to create a student-friendly space which involves reduction of media multitasking. This was it from my end. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for your presentation. Chairperson, Dr. Boobalakrishnan will give the good observation.
Good, Elizabeth. The interesting thing I like is that digital distraction. Okay,
Right.
it is not only what I can share. My experience here is it is not only distracting the usual or regular work by these digital devices. We are taking out our mobile for some reason. You see, if you take it from your packet and just opening up your mobile, okay, and we forgot for what reason we have taken that mobile. Okay, if you would have some idea to call a particular person, then you're taking out your mobile, okay, just switching on your lock screen, then you are forgetting whom to call. Why I have taken my mobile out? Because of this distractions, because of this advertisements. That is a good example. This need of the hour. And my expectation from you is, as technology grows and technology advances, this advertising strategy is also needs to be revamped and remodeled, and it becomes a very big challenge to the advertisers, advertising content creators. Earlier, those days in the traditional medium, we used to say persuading. Just to persuade, they use all these creative elements to do it. But because of this new technology and the new medium, new sorts of technological advancements, tell me what this is the challenge for the advertisers. Do you have any solutions or idea to cope up, to match up with this technological development from the advertising perspective or advertisers' view?
Yes, so sir, as you mentioned, the rate at which technology is going right now, there's a huge scope when it comes to VR, I feel. Advertisers have slowly started moving to virtual reality, which is a new concept to most of their customers or their viewers. So that is something which will really catch their attention, and I feel like that will ensure brand recall and brand recollection, which is mainly what advertisers are looking for. Their end goal is brand recall. So using the latest form of technology, whether it is AI or VR, I feel like that will be a great advantage to these advertisers.
Good. I think by this technology has made this advertising industry more scope. People giving more scope to the advertising industry, and more creatively you have to work for this technology. Okay, that's good. So that's it for from your presentation. And to compile the all the 7 presentation, what I have observed is each and every presentation is a unique approach. And it's really, I had a very good, what do you say, fruitful time for the past 1 hour and 15 minutes. I think more than 1.5 hours. Okay. Yeah, each and every topic is interesting. And as I said before, it's unique. To mention a few, this advertising, multitasking, artificial intelligence in news industry, WhatsApp as becoming a propaganda, and health communication in the health communication challenges in the new world era in a country like India. So it's quite interesting. And what I can say is all the best. Go ahead, move forward for the next level of your research. Keep doing. And thanks for the opportunity for given for me by the SRM, Institute of Science and Technology. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for everyone who has presented in this session and patiently waited too long for getting your chance. It is my pleasure to take a moment to express my gratitude and appreciation to everyone of you for your participation in this conference, and I wish you all the very best in your future in endeavors. And finally, thank you so much, Azhagudurai sir and Dr. Boobalakrishnan sir. I wanted to take a moment of expression to my heartful gratitude for your exceptional guidance throughout the conference. Both of your insightful and thought-provoking remarks during the entire session helped set the tone for the productive and engaging session. By this, today's slot for the conference are completed. Keep giving your support even tomorrow for the final day of the conference. Once again, thank you one and all for your participation in the conference. Bye bye, guys, and we are very glad to see you people on tomorrow. And you people can leave now, and we will see you tomorrow on the next day 2 conference. Thank you everyone for participating in the conference. Thank you so much, sir.